Hello everyone and welcome to SQL Beats. I hope you are enjoying a lot during this event, the greatest data show. Thanks for coming to my session. Let's do the cleansing with M and or Python languages. I'm Ana Maria Bisbeyor. I'm Business Intelligence Consultant, Microsoft Partner on Power BI, Data Platform MVP and Linden Learning Trainer. You can find me in the Power BI User Group Spain or Power Platform Madrid, Spain meetup. Okay, let's start. This is a short session. We have 20 minutes for covering this agenda. We will start solving a cleansing and modeling requirements using IDE options integrated on Power Query, a powerful component in Power BI. We will then solve the scenario using M language, our good friend. And then I will talk to you about the real life case. A personal experience when Power BI was not good enough. And I looked at the Python, a language for data science and machine learning. Python comes to me to the rescue. Power Query is a great tool. We could decide to work with either integrated options or M language. The decision will depend on the situation. But first, please take a look at the options integrated. There's tons of menus or tons of options integrated. Power Query is a great tool. Okay, let's see the first demo here. Here we have the information about the population by continent. Okay, so as we can see, there's a ton of transformation to do to this data. We can remove top rows, remove several columns, and we need to improve the model by doing on pivot of all of these columns. At the end, we need to perform several more steps for cleansing this data, and now is correct. So that means using Power Query just with options integrated with IDE, for a lot of scenarios where we need to improve data quality, we don't need to do any coding actions. We are able to travel from this dirty and unformatted data to clean, well-formatted and well-designing and modeling table. Power Query allows us to do all of these steps without writing any script. However, the M code is still there. Please take a look at the code. It's good for learning. It's good for understanding the steps we were working on. Power Query is amazing, but there are scenarios when we need to do some coding. In this case, the requirement is to group by column this column province just one row by Madrid, one row by Barcelona, and we need to obtain the first value. The group by integrated option is really good. There's several available options here for operations for the integration and aggregation columns. Unfortunately, the first option is not available here. If we need to look at the first value for a date column, we could use the operation min, because the minimum value for a date is the first one. But if we need to look at the first value for a number or decimal column, we are not able to solve this requirement using min. This will not be a solution for us. Okay, let's see the Power Query again. In this case, we solve the problem using min option, min operation with a date column. But if we need to work with quantity, we need to change the code. So from the menu, we are able to enter to Advanced Editor, and from here we are able to see the following. If we use the first function for the list, we are able to obtain the first value. But first option is not in the Power Query IDE for group by. But we are able to change the code, so we can go here and look at the options available for the list and learn. In this case, first, and now we are obtaining the first value for the column quantity, and we are looking at the list for each of the province. That means that M language, it's our friend. Using M language, we are able to take the advantage of the function first from the list and to solve the problem. It's not too complicated, it's easy, and it's a really good solution for this case. But we need to take in touch of M code. Okay, now please let me tell you a short story, just a little. What's a real life experience using Power BI? In April this year, I was collecting data for an article on LinkedIn. This article was about the data analysis using Power BI. It was in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis. It's in Spanish, of course. The data was related to environmental pollution of Madrid. I agree that these pictures show the improvements of air quality. You can see before COVID-19 and during the lockdown. Wow, it's amazing. But I'm a data person, so show me the data, please. And now I can see that collecting this data and creating a Power BI report, I'm able to see the seasonality pattern here for March last year and the changes we had for this year during the lockdown. It's amazing. And also we are able to see the relationship between the traffic intensity, these columns bars are traffic intensity, and the air quality indicators. Here we have the values. It's amazing. It's amazing. And where is the problem here? The problem was appear when we start, because the information was collected on a CSV file that was to be for open on Excel and also for open using Notepad. Too big. Power Query was able to connect and was able to show a preview of data. Great, fantastic. But the problem here was the big amount of data and granularity. I just need the value for the date. And we have date and type, so we just need a group by each combination for columns date and type, like in this case. Let's see the Power Query. Here we have. Here are the data. I am able to connect and to do these options for remove other columns, renames column from Spanish to English, extract first character for the date. It's okay. I was able to do some cleansing steps, but I was not able to perform nothing more, because group by operations, or for example column profile, taking in account the entire data set, took a too long time. It's impossible to do. So Python to the rescue. Python is an open source and free language. It's available for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Python is de facto language for data science and machine learning. Python has collected more than 200,000 packages. There is a package manager included, and last but not least, massive documentation online and a great community, like in Power BI, of course. So let's solve the problem using Python. Here we have a Jupyter notebook. Here I am. Okay. By first, we need to import Python package pandas, import data, and count the rows. I want to know how many rows I have in my source. This is CSV file, and I have more than 1100 of rows. If we want to look at the columns, here we have the head, the first 5 rows, and all the columns still in Spanish. And I will do by first removing columns like in Power Query, okay, and then rename from Spanish to English like in Power Query. That's perfect. And now I will transform column date because I just need the date, year, month, and day. I will take the first 11 characters from the date columns, and I am using the lambda function here. And we will see the result for the very first 5 rows. Here we have just the date, and here date and hour. Great. And now we will start grouping. By first, I will group by date and type and create 2 columns by summing the values for weights and occupation. Just 1 row by the combination of date and type. Then another one, counting the rows, sites mean count the rows, and then another group using the aggregation mean for the intensity. Now it's time to read off the DF. DF is the big one, the ones who has 11 million data. Okay. And at the end we need to improve the information here. And at the end we have just 62 rows. Okay. Now we have the solution using Python. It's great, fantastic. It's time to get in data from Python script on the Power BI report. But first, let's configure. From the menu, options and settings, options, Python scripting, and we need to indicate or to check, because probably it's correct, to check the information here. Okay, and now it's important to get data from other sources, Python script, copy the code we have in the, for example, Notepad, and paste here to Python script and execute. Here we have the solution. As we can see, the source it's Python, execute, and the code inside is the same code as we saw before. And now we are using Python script inside Power Query. As the result and navigation, we have our data. And all the transformations here are still available for our work. Why should I take a look at Python? Because Power BI nowadays is not suited for everything. Python is really good at performing the aggregations of big amount of data. This is a 20-minute session. We have no time for covering the following reasons for taking a look of Python. We could extend Power Query capabilities using Python for importing and manipulating zip file, for example, or developing advanced and customized statistical algorithm or advanced specific data science charts. My final ideas for you are: take the advantage of Power Query IDE options. Explore all the menus and integrated functionality. Take M language into account. M is your friend. Do not forget about Python, because Python led you to extend Power BI functionality and options. Take the best of each world. Happy querying, happy cleansing, happy mining, happy Pythoning. Thank you very much for visiting us.